the floor where they drop like bombs. Faceless voices running all the cons. Digital whispers in the binary night. No light, no face, pure sound, no sight. Stories unfold in the dark unscrolled. Echoes of silence, secrets untold. Waves crash loud in this audio cave. No mic, no fame, just the sound we crave. Tune and turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just a vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. In shadows, voices untamed. No need for spotlight, no claim to fame. Just a beat of life in a stream of thought. Every word a punchline, no need to be taught. Just listen close, no visuals needed. Raw conversation, unprocessed, unseated. Feel the pulse in every sentence said. No distractions, just thoughts in your head. Whispers of the streets, rumbling through. Faceless yet vivid, a world in view. No mic, just souls, connecting in flow. Pure and raw, let the rhythm go.
The ultimate goal is a comprehensive classification of what is very likely a single language family. The implications of such a classification for the origin and history of our species would, of course, be very great. Joseph H. Greenberg. Joseph Greenberg was a pivotal figure in linguistics, renowned for his significant contributions to both linguistic typology and the genetic classification of languages. He is widely considered the founder of modern linguistic typology, a field that seeks to categorize languages based on shared structural characteristics rather than historical descent. A key aspect of his work in this area was the identification of implicational universals, which are principles stating that if a language possesses a particular structural feature, it will also possess another, related feature. Joseph Greenberg's early life was marked by a precocious intellect and a deep fascination with both music and languages. Born in Brooklyn, New York, on May 28, 1915, he displayed exceptional musical talent from a young age, even giving a piano concert at Steinway Hall at the age of 14 and winning a citywide prize for Best Chamber Music Ensemble. Though he continued to play the piano throughout his life, he ultimately chose to pursue an academic path. His passion for languages began equally early. He taught himself Hebrew from a grammar book, even though his Hebrew school only provided basic instruction. At James Madison High School, he studied Latin and German. Driven by a desire to learn classical Greek, he attempted to transfer schools when his high school didn't offer it. When that failed, his father bought him a Greek grammar and dictionary, and he taught himself Greek, a method of self-instruction that became characteristic of his approach to learning languages. Greenberg enrolled at Columbia College in New York in 1932. His linguistic curiosity blossomed there, as he continued his studies in Latin and Greek, and also taught himself classical Arabic. He even sought out and enrolled in classes for obscure languages like Akkadian and various Slavic languages, sometimes to the annoyance of professors who expected no students to take them. During his junior year at Columbia, he discovered comparative linguistics, and in his senior year, he was introduced to anthropology. Notably, he audited a class taught by the renowned anthropologist Franz Boas on American Indian languages, and on his own, delved into all the Native American language grammars available in Boas's published works from 1911 and 1922. This early exposure to the diversity of human languages and the foundational work of figures like Boas laid the groundwork for his future groundbreaking research in linguistic typology and classification. After graduating from Columbia in 1936, Greenberg pursued graduate studies at Northwestern University, where he earned his doctorate in anthropology in 1940. He studied under Melville J. Herskovits, a prominent Africanist, and his graduate work included fieldwork among the Hausa people in Nigeria, during which he learned the Hausa language. His doctoral dissertation focused on the influence of Islam on a particular non-Islamic Hausa group, reflecting his early interest in the intersection of culture, history, and language. His intellectual roots during this period were broad, encompassing American structuralism, European structuralism through later acquaintance with figures like Roman Jakobson, comparative historical linguistics, logical positivism, and cultural anthropology, all of which would profoundly shape his future contributions to the field of linguistics. Following his doctoral studies and fieldwork in Nigeria, Joseph Greenberg's next major professional steps included serving in the U.S. Army from 1940 to 1945, where he was involved in the Signal Corps and Intelligence Corps, working as a code breaker in North Africa and serving in Italy. The decipherment of the Ben Ali Diary, a preliminary statement. Journal of Negro History. 1940 Some Problems in Hausa Phonology. Language. 1941 After his military service, Greenberg entered academia, first teaching at the University of Minnesota from 1946 to 1948, and then at Columbia University from 1948 to 1962. During his time at Columbia, he began to consolidate and publish his groundbreaking work on African languages. Arabic loanwords in Hausa. Word. 1947 The Classification of African Languages. American Anthropologist. 1948 This was an early article setting the stage for his comprehensive classification. This research culminated in the Studies in African Linguistic Classification 1955, which was later expanded and revised into his seminal book, The Languages of Africa 1963. This work, which proposed a unified classification of African languages into 4 major families, became one of his most celebrated and influential contributions. He also started to delve into the study of language universals during this period, publishing Essays in Linguistics 1957. This work showcased his growing interest in identifying common structural patterns across diverse languages, a pursuit that would define a significant part of his career in linguistic typology. He would further develop these ideas in his 1966 publication, Language Universals, with special reference to feature hierarchies, and through editing collections like Universals of Language 1963 and Universals of Human Language 1978. The Nature and Uses of Linguistic Typologies. International Journal of American Linguistics. 1957 The General Classification of Central and South American Languages. Selected Papers of the 5th International Congress of Anthropological and Ethnological Sciences. 1960 An early articulation of his American classification, preceding the 1987 book. Is the vowel-consonant dichotomy universal? Word. 1962 In 1962, Greenberg moved to Stanford University, where he remained a professor of anthropology for the rest of his active career, eventually becoming professor emeritus in 1985. It was at Stanford that he continued to pursue his large-scale classifications of language families, including his highly ambitious, though controversial, Language in the Americas 1987 and his later work on the Eurasiatic language family. Synchronic and diachronic universals in phonology. Language. 1966 Some generalizations concerning glottalic consonants, especially implosives. International Journal of American Linguistics. 1970 The Indo-Pacific Hypothesis. Current Trends in Linguistics, Volume 8, Linguistics in Oceania. 1971 An example of his broader classification attempts beyond Africa and the Americas. Numeral classifiers and substantival number, problems in the genesis of a linguistic type. Working papers in Language Universals. 1972 Rethinking Linguistics Diachronically. Language. 1979 The Classification of American Indian Languages. Papers of the Mid-American Linguistic Conference at Oklahoma. 1979 African Linguistic Classification. General History of Africa, Volume 1, Methodology and African Prehistory. 1981 Some Areal Characteristics of African Languages. Current Approaches to African Linguistics. 1983 At Stanford University, where he moved in 1962, he spearheaded the Language Universals project from 1967 to 1976. This project was a direct outgrowth of his earlier work on identifying common structural patterns across languages, as seen in his essays in Linguistics 1957 and Language Universals, with special reference to feature hierarchies 1966. His work on implicational universals, stating that if a language has structure X, it must also have structure Y, profoundly influenced the field of linguistic typology, which he is credited with revitalizing. He also edited significant collections like Universals of Language 1963 and Universals of Human Language 1978, further cementing his role in this area. Joint papers with Christy G. Turner II and Stephen L. Zegura on the Peopling of the Americas, Integrating Linguistic, Dental, and Genetic Evidence, published in Collegium Anthropologicum 1985 and Current Anthropology 1986. Concurrent with his work on universals, Greenberg embarked on even more ambitious genetic classification projects. He applied his mass comparison methodology, which involved simultaneously comparing basic vocabulary and morphological elements across numerous languages, to vast geographical areas. This led to his highly discussed and controversial work, Language in the Americas 1987, where he proposed a tripartite classification for the indigenous languages of North and South America. This macro-level classification stood in stark contrast to the more fine-grained analyses prevalent at the time and generated significant debate within the linguistic community, with many critics questioning his methodology and findings. Classification of American Indian Languages, a reply to Campbell. Language. 1989 An example of his engagement in academic debate. On Language, selected writings of Joseph H. Greenberg. Edited by Keith Denning and Suzanne Kemmer. Stanford CA, Stanford University Press. 1990 A collection of his significant writings. Observations concerning rings calculating the factor of chance in language comparison. Proceedings of the American Philosophical Society. 1993 In his later career, which extended until shortly before his death in 2001, Greenberg continued to pursue broad linguistic connections. He proposed the Eurasiatic language family, which posited relationships among most of the languages of Europe and Asia. The first volume of this work, focusing on grammar, Indo-European, and its closest relatives, the Eurasiatic language family, Volume 1, Grammar, was published in 2000, and he completed the manuscript for the second volume, on lexicon, shortly before his passing. These large-scale classifications, though often controversial, demonstrated his commitment to uncovering deep historical relationships among human languages and pushing the boundaries of traditional comparative linguistics. Review of Michael Fortescue, Language Relations Across Bering Strait, Repraising the Archaeological and Linguistic Evidence. Review of Archaeology. 2000. Joseph H. Greenberg's long and profoundly influential career in linguistics concluded with his passing on May 7, 2001, at the age of 85, in Stanford, California. His death marked the end of an era for a scholar who had, for decades, challenged conventional wisdom and instigated significant paradigm shifts within the study of language. Even in his final years, his intellectual drive remained undiminished, a testament to his lifelong passion for exploring the vast diversity and underlying unity of human language. Indo-European and its closest relatives, the Eurasiatic language family. Volume 2, Lexicon. Stanford, Stanford University Press. 2002. While the first volume was mentioned as being published shortly before his death, this second volume, published posthumously, was not explicitly listed. Genetic Linguistics, Essays on Theory and Method. Edited by William Croft. Oxford, Oxford University Press. 2005. A posthumous collection of essays focusing on his theoretical and methodological approaches to genetic linguistics. A speaker is like a lousy auto mechanic. Every time he fixes something in the language, he screws up something else. Joseph H. Greenberg. The late Stanford professor Joseph Greenberg claimed that we could trace all human languages back to a single source, which he and his followers labeled Proto-Sapiens. But other scholars say no. They maintain that there are many trees all going back to different prehistoric communities of hominids. Daniel L. Everett, How Language Began, The Story of Humanity's Greatest Invention. Awards, Haile Selassie I Prize for African Research 1967. Talcott Parsons Prize for Social Science 1996. Guggenheim Fellowships. Gold Medal of Philology 1996. Distinguished Africanist Award 1987. First Distinguished Lecturer of the American Anthropological Association. Presidencies of Scholarly Organizations. References. Croft, William. Joseph Harold Greenberg. Archived copy PDF. Archived from the original PDF on July 9, 2008. Retrieved June 10, 2008. Luraghi, S. 2010. Introduzione, in Croft and Cruz Linguistica Cognitiva, Italian edition, p.19. Song, J. Young 2010. Setting the Stage. The Oxford Handbook of Linguistic Typology. doi 10.1093 Oxford 9780199281251.013.0001. Chafe, Wallace. 1987. Review of Greenberg 1987. Current Anthropology, 28, page 652 to 653. Goddard, Ives. 1987. Review of Joseph Greenberg, Language in the Americas. Current Anthropology, 28, 656 to 657. Goddard, Ives. 1990. Review of Language in the Americas by Joseph H. Greenberg. Linguistics, 28, 556 to 558. Gala, Victor. 1988. Review of Language in the Americas, by Joseph Greenberg. American Anthropologist, 90, page 434 to 435. Kimball, Jeffrey. 1992. A Critique of Muskogean, Gulf, and Yukian Materials in Language in the Americas. International Journal of American Linguistics, 58, page 447 to 501. Poser, William J. 1992. The Salinan and Urumangi Data in Language in the Americas. International Journal of American Linguistics, 58 202-229. PDF. Reich, David. 2018. Who We Are and How We Got Here, Ancient DNA and the New Science of the Human Past. Chapter 7. New York, Pantheon Books 2018. Edward Vajda PDF. Archived from the original PDF on May 18, 2008. Retrieved March 17, 2009. University of Alaska Fairbanks. Starostin, George S. On the Genetic Affiliation of the Elamite Language. 2005.
Mics on the floor where they drop like bombs. Faceless voices running all the cons. Digital whispers in a binary night. No light, no face, pure sound, no sight. Stories unfold in the dark unscrolled. Echoes of silence, secrets untold. Waves crash loud in this audio cave. No light, no fame, just the sound we crave. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Hidden in shadows, voices untamed. No need for spotlight, no claim to fame. Just a beat of life in a stream of thought. Every word a punchline, no need to be taught. Just listen close, no visuals needed. Raw conversation, unprocessed, unseated. Feel the pulse in every sentence said. No distractions, just thoughts in your head. Whispers of the streets, rumbling through. Faceless yet vivid, a world in view. No mic, just souls, connecting in flow. Pure and raw, let the rhythm go. Pure and raw. Silence break, raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Pure and raw. Okay.